This is James Altucher at TheStreet.com TV, and I'm here with Jim Cramer. And so, Jim, we're going to talk about homework.
Okay.
Now, when I was a kid, I never liked doing my homework. I just couldn't. It was like genetic. I couldn't do my homework. But for investing, a hedge fund, you have to do homework. Now, there's two audiences that have asked questions to you on Stock Picker about homework. One was, let's say you don't have access to all the CEOs, all the institutions, all the analysts. How do you do your homework to invest?
Well, first of all, that's nonsense. Everybody has the same access as everybody. Believe me. I got to tell you, you see a CEO these days, you're going to see him in public. He's not going to, if you try to get him, you corner a CEO, what you're going to hear is this. And I cornered two CEOs recently. Jim, I can't tell you anything I did not tell others. Or, Jim, here's what I'm saying in the 10K. Thank you. There's nothing that they're going to give you.
What about, though, just like facial expressions, body language?
Oh,
you ever get
they're all tuned to that, too. I mean, everybody's got the same manual, which is do not help any one person.
What about broker's desks, though? You've said in a recent video you would call up the broker's desk, find out what stock's for sale.
Well, that's the only edge that's left to an institution, which is that you get a better trading call. Now, one day they'll even get rid of that, I sense. But there's always going to be merchandise that weighs on a stock. And there's always going to be the last piece of merchandise after the stock's been hit. And when you do a lot of commission, you're going to get a call on that last piece of merchandise. And you're going to get that because there has to be some non-commodity edge to what these brokers do in order to be able to entice you to work with one over the other.
But do you think the brokers game that? They're trading back and forth both sides, trying to get a penny here, a penny there, just so they show up as the axe on a stock?
Yes, they do that, but that still doesn't preclude you from getting a call saying, listen, I'm down to tag ends. Now, one of the things, that's what they say, I'm down to tag ends. One of the things that every broker has to do is decide who's a good client. And I know that a good client is a guy who takes a beating. So what I would do is I'd take a beating. I would lose money on 5 trades to be able to get that call. And the way I would do it is to say, what would happen is a trader would call and say, listen, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with Baker Hughes. Can you help me? And it'd be like, oh, shoot, man, I don't really like Baker Hughes. But the guy's a good guy. So then, when that guy has the tag end of Baker Hughes, he says, well, who helped me? Now, that's human nature. If they're going to outlaw human nature, they've outlawed a lot of other stuff. I say that's wrong. I mean, I say it's wrong because in the end, there's a relationship. And the relationship means I hurt you, you hurt me, we go out for beer, we fix it. If you're going to tell me that relationships are totally meaningless, then I really would tell you that the individual investor is the only, there's no edge at all to being a good client.
Well, let's say you are the individual investor. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. How do you start your homework for the day?
Website.
And what are you looking
stock
for?
blog. Now I would add stock blog, but I would say, okay, by the way, I wouldn't let it start at 7. I'd let the market tell me, okay, Bud opens up $1. Open the file. But Johnson Controls opens down $2. Is there anything wrong with Johnson Controls? No. Well, let's quickly look at this. Cramer says that's a hot stock. It's down $2. Or so-and-so says that, someone on TV says it, or some piece of research says it, or I saw it in a video. I mean, you let the stocks tell you where to do the homework.
Well, actually, Johnson Controls JCI is an interesting example because if you type that into Stock Picker, not only will you see your portfolio where you recommend it,
over and over again.
But you'll also see it was on our latest insider purchases and buybacks.
Oh, yeah, I know, all the way up here.
A director just bought $2 million worth of stock.
I used to start with insider buying as one. I used to start with the charts, as I mentioned, and I start with insider buying. Insider buying has become such a cottage industry. Everybody has it, so it's not enough of an edge. It's good to look at, though.
But let's say, though, a director or a CEO buys $2 million worth of a stock, and now let's say the stock is around the same price or even down. Is that still a good signal?
Yes. I mean, I just talked about this morning McAndrew and Forbes, M&F Worldwide. Yeah. They bought John Harlan. I don't think they should have been allowed to buy John Harlan. Where was the FTC? Where's Justice? But, Justice works for Commerce now. I'd make the joke. But this is just a fabulous combination, and Ron Perlman just bought millions of dollars worth of stock at 60, even though that's up something like 100% from where the stock started, maybe even more this year. Well, that is a wake-up call, and I like that.
Well, it's interesting. If Perlman buys a lot of another company, it's not always necessarily a great buy. But MFW is like his personal baby.
I just thought that was like Warren Buffett coming in and buying right here. I had to buy it. So anyway.
Okay, well, this is James Altucher and Jim Cramer at TheStreet.com TV. Thanks very much.